Assalamualaikum. I am Sarah Shahira binti Zakaria, PB 18110572 from HA09 International Business Course. This is my group members, and we will discuss about the 5 major questions in German Historical School. German Historical School is one of the revolution in the School of Economic Thought, and according to the Grimme Solem and Romani 1998, the role of government in German Historical School for the society is truly significant as the central of movement are cultivated by the society and state. I'll move to the first question, which is what was the historical background of the school? The German Historical School was developed in the mid of 19th century. The German Historical School does not follow the footsteps of marginalist and classical economic school of thought as the history of German separation itself. The German separation of states issues had happened by that time, and the strongest state that time is Prussia. The founder of German Historical School was Wilhelm Roscher. The co-founder is Bruno Hildebrand. The German Historical School was popular due to the publication of Friedrich List, Wilhelm Roscher, and Gustav von Schmoller. There are 2 types of German Historical School, which is older German Historical School and younger German Historical School. So this is the timeline of the older and the younger German Historical School. The older German Historical School. The important person that always appointed for this older German Historical School era was Wilhelm Roscher, Bruno Hildebrand, and Karl Nies. The forerunner for older German Historical School was Friedrich List. In older German Historical School era, they emphasized about the argument of economic behavior and laws. Next, younger German Historical School. This younger German Historical School era was led by Gustav von Schmoller, and the members in this younger German Historical School era was Adolf Wagner, Etienne Las Perez, Karl Bucher, and George Friedrich Knapp. In this era, they claimed that the economics as something that inherent such normative disciplines.
Next, the major tenets of the German Historical School. The major tenets of the German Historical School has been divided into 4 categories. The first major tenet is evolutionary approach to economics. The German Historical School, they enforce a dynamic and evolutionary perspective in its study of society. So based on this, they focus on the cumulative development and also the growth. So add on, as the development increases, there is always a changes in the society. Related to this, the GHS, that is German Historical School, they had stated that the economic doctrines whichever related to the or relevant to the another country or for one country at a particular time, they might be inappropriate or not suitable for another country at a different stage of economic development. So using this approach, the GHS, that is German Historical School, they attack the classical economies, which states that it might be suitable for England to use that kind of approach, but it's not suitable for the German country. The second major tenet of the German Historical School is emphasis on role government and nationalism was important. According to GHS, that is German Historical School, it has characterized as nationalistic, while classical economic characterized as individualistic and cosmopolitan. So in this case, GHS, that is German Historical School, emphasized the role of the state and the needs for its intervention in economic affairs. Furthermore, they highlight the community as interest on its own that quite obvious from those of the individual. In the process of defending a unified economy, it is easy to develop an ardent rationalistic and nationalistic glorification of the state. Third tenet is inductive or historic approach. German Historical School, they had highlighted the significance of studying economic inductively or historically. This is because economic and other social phenomena are interrelated. In this case, political economy they cannot handle properly without the combination of other social science branches. Therefore, they conduct a major inductive studies using the primary sources and social structures involved research. And this inductive method including theory, hypothesis, pattern, and also the observation. The historical school's method focus on all the forces of an economic phenomena and also the phases of economic behavior. The final major tenets in the German historical school is the consideration of conservative reform. The economists in the German historical school were reformers and states that important tasks in the political economy. According to political economy, they suppose not simply examine motivations that promote the economic activity. Besides, they must and measure and compare the moral values of their performance. Reformers, they believe that the state should entrust with the common man as it would divert the working man from the socialistic ideology. These moderate reformers, known as the socialists of the chess, paternalistic state of compromises rather than poor and lowly fighting and winning their own battles for the improvements. At last, in German, the loyalty, nationalism, and servility was spread widely.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Rashid bin Roslan. My metric number BB18110820. And in this part, I will discuss about whom did the historical school benefit or seek to benefit. The part that I will discuss now. So first of all, this is the two figures that important in this German historical school's topic, that is Friedrich List and Wilhelm Rothschild. So the first one, historians of the school themselves benefited from the school. So they had close contact with civil servants and gained important positions at universities. So for example, in 1848, Rothschild was called to the University Leipzig. So we can say that all of the historians of the school themselves benefited from the school, because we can read and look to their biography that they hold key positions in university. So for the second one, the founders of the German historical schools enriched themselves. So they had good relations with government officials and rose to the main positions in academic life. In 1848, Rothschild was called to the University of Lisbon. So this is what we call enrich themselves. In fact, the German government dominated much of the universities, and Schomler, regarded as the professor maker, controlled the bulk of academic appointments in Germany through his influence in the Prussian ministries of education. His supporters were put in academic positions, while the German members of the Austrian marginal school were removed from university positions. So for the third part, historical economists have supported the powerful corporate, banking, and land-owning classes. Historical economists have supported the powerful corporate, banking, and land-owning classes by supporting gradual changes that have blocked the push for a more radical democratization of society. Instead of the weak and lowly battling winning their own wars for change, they were awarded compromises by paternalistic administration. As a result, Germany's servility, nationalism, and allegiance of governments were more widespread than everywhere else. So this is the third parties that benefited from the school. So for the fourth, the landowners and business financial groups benefited. They said it because there was no democracy. So for example, Friedrich List, a German liberal who, after being exiled to the United States, was converted to the economic nationalism of American Hamiltonians and advocated it for other developing nations, including his own Germany. From this statement, we know that there is no democracy in that era. This will give benefit to the landowners and businesses financial group. This is because they are richest class in the country, so they will benefit it. So like the quotes, the rich become rich and the poor remain poor.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Roslan bin Sukarno, BB18110720. I will proceed the presentation and I will take the question number 4. How was the German history school valid, useful, or correct in its time? My first point is the German history school valid, useful, or correct in this time is the evolution approach and emphasize on development, growth, and change. This is because German required on economy theory that center on the social and economic evolution. The economic theory that focus on their society is in the social market economy, began on take on life in on which is German economy towards an extensive social welfare system that has become one of the most effective. Yeah. My second point is this is Gustav von Müller. This is one of the important person in German history school because he has rejected both of the classical traditional and religious faith. He declined this and derived school of thought as well theoretical because of them and childish optimism of this faith. Okay, last but not least is the historical was correct in its perspective that economy needs to familiarize them. The German history school in its time, which is we adjust in its view that economy required to familiarize with the changed history and changing current situation, the economy and social evolution in arms to get it to show the world. Moreover, theory in modern thought had to be evoked lesson and concept need to caution testing by the empirical data.
Hi, my name is Rosie Musran. So today I'm going to present about which major tenets become lasting contribution in German historical school. There are two main points, which are the historical and empirical material to test theories and the negative view towards laissez-faire. The historical and empirical material used to test theories, the school of thought that existed before the evolution of the German historical school, such as classical, neoclassical, marginalist, and etc. It helps and explains several of the historiographical elements, including the economic thought history. Other than that, it analyzes present procedures, philosophies, theories, research methods, and structure of demonstration of academic historical study in a specific topic in the histories of economy. Next, the negative view towards laissez-faire. The first one is selfishness and egoism, which means the person only do the beneficial things for them based on their own desire. Then, lack of appearance in leadership, which means the leader will give a full autonomy, power to his subordinates to decide whatever happens in the company. In the context of organizational culture, the leader will take part on the answering and questioning session only. As for the feedback session, he will not take part on it. That means, to improve or to solve the problem that occur in the company, the leader will not be responsible for it. Concisely, there are four major tenets for German historical school of thought, which are evolutionary approach to the economy, emphasis on rural government and nationalism, inductive or historical approach, and consideration of conservative reform. As for the major figures that involved in this school is Friedrich List and Wilhelm Rothschild. As for the lasting contribution tenets for German historical school of thought, there are two components of it, which are the historical and empirical material to test theories and the negative view towards laissez-faire. Thank you.